Hi everybody, Wyduck here again. This time with Game 3 of a Best of 5 series from the Russian Star League 2013 tournament. This time on Red City, spawning in the bottom left as the Green Terran, we've got Natus Vincir's Strelok. And unfortunately for him, his opponent spawning in the top right as the purple Zerg, representing Team Acer, we've got Scarlett. And Scarlett was able to win the last game to even up the series. And now it will be up to both players to steal the momentum and the lead and put their opponent onto match point. And this time, Minute Door. Yes, well, this tournament was played online, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't professional, and it also doesn't mean that there weren't very good players playing. Lots of great players from around the world. But this map is really a wild card. Red City is generally a map that a lot of tournaments do not play. A lot of professional players do not like to play it. Even on the ladder, Red City is generally a map that players do not like to play either, is generally vetoed in tournaments and on the ladder. And so whenever you see a game on Red City, players probably don't have a very good idea of what kind of strategies to employ. It's a very large map, and it's very different. Strelok's going to be going for 14cc on the low ground. This is a very economic build. Heavy on the macro and very risky. Scarlett is going for the expansion hatchery B4 pool, so very normal builds. As I was saying before, each position on this map has some very odd things on it. If you look here, there is a little ramp. You can't build a lot of buildings here, but you can get high ground advantage. Sometimes you can put drops here, maybe units such as siege tanks. Or if you hide medevacs or some other air units here, then on the low ground, the opponent is not able to see. So there is that. There also is this El Naga Tower in the middle map, but it's a lot different than other maps because there's these divots. There's these 4 divots here, so it's not exactly very friendly to ground forces. So you can't get really good concaves here. There's not that much space, so it is different that way. And also there's all these sorts of destructible rocks, so you can go into other bases differently. So this is a very, very strange map. On top of that, like I said before, it is a large map as well. So if you want to build some ninja expansions, this is one of the maps where you can get away with it. And Strelok is sending his SCV out. Going to be checking out the cross-spawn position. Going to be able to find out where Scarlett is. The Zerglings are going to turn around and try to deal with that SCV. And this is an important scout for Strelok because he's going to see that no extractor is up, which means that Scarlett cannot get early Zergling speed. And is also not getting early tech, so she's not going early lair. So that's important to know for Strelok. It might affect what build he's going to go for. He's already got almost 200 gas. He's getting the factory up. So he'll probably be shooting out some Hellions. And because Scarlett doesn't have gas, and Strelok is going to get the factory with the reactor, and if he's going to start building a lot of Hellions, those Hellions will have very good map control, because without Zergling speed, those Zerglings just get roasted up. They can't catch up off of creep to the Hellions, and so that's a huge advantage for Strelok to know that. So that scout was totally worth it. He's building his 3rd command center on the high ground. Another advantage for playing Terran is you can build your expansions under the protection of your main base. Zerg players and Protoss players would love to do that, but they can't. And it looks like I was correct. The 2 Hellions will be coming out of that factory pretty soon. And Scarlett is going to be blocking off her main entrance into her natural with an evolution chamber and a few queens. So intelligence response from Scarlett. She's also getting a lot of gas now, so she can get Zergling speed if she really wants to. But instead, she's going up for the lair tech immediately. So very interesting. It's opting for teching instead of map control. And she's getting the last 2 geysers in her natural. And she's also getting her third hatchery. These two Hellions will be able to spot as they approach up this ramp. Take a couple pot shots on that hatchery. Not going to do a lot of damage, but it is annoying. The Hellions are going to temporarily withdraw. And there is a Roach Warren on the way. So, all right, what kind of strategy is Scarlett going to be employing? Because she's going for Lair Tech, and then she's going for Roaches as well. She only has one Evolution Chamber, so she's not going to be going for this heavy macro game, it looks like. The Hellions are able to pick off one Creep Tumor, and never dismiss the fact that Hellions are not good against Queens. They are great against Creep Tumors. Great against units that can't fight back, obviously. And every Creep Tumor that you're able to cut down early is another 25 energy that Queens cannot inject larvae, that cannot transfuse, and it's another 25 energy they have to spend on another Creep Tumor. So picking off these active Creep Tumors is very important as a Terran player. I've seen it sometimes where Zerg players just run amok. They get so many Creep Tumors out, and the Terran player opts not to scan or to confront the Creep Tumors. And what ends up happening is the Zerg basically has a map hack and is able to see everything. And Strelok's going for something interesting as well. He's building Hellbats. And with these Hellbats, and remember, the Hellbats were nerfed recently, a month or two ago, and so they do not do extra damage against light units. You have to get the you have to get the Igniter upgrade before they do extra damage. When these Hellions are going to get caught out of position, the Roaches are able to pick off one Hellion. I'm not sure why the Hellions are going back in for more punishment. Able to skip around from one edge to the other. Scarlett was able to get that Zelnaga Tower just for a second. The Hellions are going to go in for another scout, it looks like. The second Hellion goes down. The third one is finished off. One more shot, but no, this Hellion is going to be able to get... Oh, no. Picked off by the Queen at the last moment in time. So Strelok was not able to get any scouting information, and this is going to be very dangerous for Strelok. Scarlett is moving to the middle of the map. She's got many Roaches. She's also got upgraded speed for the Overlord. She's also got Burrow, and she has Ventral Sacs on the way. Ventral Sacs is now complete. This is going to be a Roach drop. And like I said, Red City is an unconventional map. And an unconventional map sometimes needs unconventional play. And there's not much more unconventional than dropping Roaches into your opponent's base with Overlords. As the flock of Overlords is increasing every single moment. The Roaches are hanging out near the middle of the map. Strelok is just hanging out, protecting his third, getting the wall off to his third, which is very important. The Roaches are looking for a fourth expansion from Strelok, but Strelok only has 3 bases currently. Scarlett does have 4. And now, here comes the pickup of the Roaches. And once Strelok sees the Overlords, he knows he's in trouble. He's moving back, but unfortunately, he's playing mech, and mech units are so slow. The Roaches are already in the main, creating lots of havoc. The Hellbats are doing lots of splash damage, and then the SCVs are pulled off the line. The tanks are not sieging up. They're able to do significant damage anyways, and now the Roaches are cornered between the Hellbats and the SCVs. And all the Roaches have been destroyed, or have they? About half of them have actually burrowed. And at the same time, there's another attack at Strelok's third, and unfortunately, Strelok pulled all his use away. This orbital does not lift and is picked off. So, great pickup by Scarlett. And now she's going to run away with those Roaches. And the last set of Roaches in the main that were burrowed have been finally destroyed. These SCVs are trying to get back to a base and start mining again. Take a look at the resources, or take a look at the supplies, and there's a 50 supply difference in favor of Scarlett, and now we've got Roaches moving underground, undetected by Strelok, and these siege tanks are going to be under a lot of duress very soon. Look at this large stream, and once they pop up, it's going to be lights out for the tanks. And there we go. Hellbats do have the upgrade, but Roaches are not light units, so the upgrade is completely useless. All the tanks are picked off. the Hellions are doing exactly what they're meant to do. They're meant to tank some damage in the front, but they're all destroyed. And now with just the tanks in the back, the tanks are going to take significant damage. They are sieging up half the force, but unfortunately, there's just so many roaches here. It's going to cause a tactical retreat from Scarlett. She's going to focus down on this engineering bay. But take a look at the resources. She's got 1,000 more minerals. Resources lost is fairly even, and she's going for another drop into the main. And the siege tanks are sieged up at the natural, and unfortunately, they're not going to be able to do very much unless they unsiege. Strelok is not unsieging. The SCVs are getting picked apart. And just so much damage by Scarlett that even though the tanks are able to clean up these last remnants of roaches, there's another wave coming in again. If you take a look at it, there are 24 roaches on the map, and they're just streaming in here to a vacant third base, or a third base that used to be there. Strelok's going to lose 2 Hellbats for nothing, and when you're so behind, every unit counts. You don't want to lose more units, because Strelok needs to trade really well right now. Scarlett has 2 times as many bases as Strelok does. And Scarlett's just banking up on the money. Look at this, 2,000 minerals, and still not able to use it all. As the roaches are just rampaging around the map, looking for stray command centers. But unbeknownst to Scarlett, there are no other orbital commands or planetary fortresses, and Strelok is stuck on 2 bases. And the longer this goes on, that Strelok does not have a third base, the longer Scarlett's going to be smiling, because without a third base, Strelok cannot engage, cannot move out, and cannot do anything. Scarlett's going to be confronting Strelok later on in the game entirely on her terms. And look at this creep spread. We've got 6 active creep tumors, and unfortunately, Strelok is finally going to be moving out. Able to pick off a couple roaches. But like I said before, the problem with the Terran mech play is that their mobility is very, very poor. And with so many creep tumors and such a large supply advantage, Scarlett's going to be able to go anywhere in the map at any time she wants. There was a somewhat successful Hellbat drop, but that's cleaned up. And now the roaches are running in there. Scarlett has to be very careful. There's so many tanks doing significant splash damage that she's going to have to withdraw. She still has a 50 supply advantage, but you do not want to throw away units. You don't want to get overconfident and arrogant. I've seen many players lose even though they were ahead by 50 or 100 supplies simply because they thought they were so ahead that they could just attack move into a large group. But if you take a look at Strelok's composition, it's very strong against roaches, but if Scarlett gets even 1 Mutalisk, there is no amount of siege tanks that can deal with Mutalisk, and there is a Spire coming. It's already complete now, but Scarlett is going to move out on the map. She's using Vipers to use Blinding Cloud as well. These siege tanks are entirely useless. They're just sitting there like paperweights. They're just taking a lot of damage, and they're getting picked apart. These Hydras provide so much DPS in the back, and Strelok's going to have to tap out. So Scarlett just rampaging into that long line of siege tanks. There weren't that many Hellbats to absorb damage. And just with so many Hydras and so many roaches, Strelok was just too far behind, not able to get back into the game. So Scarlett's going to take a 2-1 lead. And now it's going to be an elimination game. We'll have to see who comes out on game 4, so I'll see you guys there.